Hi, I'm Patricia Greenberg, and welcome to It's Okay to Be Old. Chris Bates, he's a one-man band, my guest today. He's an author with a passion for emerging technologies and their potential to transform lives. His new book, ChatGPT Made Easy for Seniors, is a comprehensive guide to allowing technology into your life to make everything easier and more accessible. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you, Patricia. Good to see you.
Now, I know you didn't wake up one day at your age and say, I'm going to write a book about GPT. So we'll talk about the background a little bit, but I want to just mention that many older adults cannot be bothered with learning new technology, especially in a deep way. Tell me what button to press, and that's all I need to know. And we've come very far in embracing technology as a society because now it all seems so easy to us. And the hot topic now is artificial intelligence. So I want to start with that, telling us what you can tell us about artificial intelligence and maybe a little background on how you even got here and got interested in this subject.
Sure. Thanks. Great to see you today and great to be here. I got interested in artificial intelligence as soon as it came out. I have always been trying to stay abreast of technology. Um, I got my first sales job around 1990, just as PCs were starting to come on the scene. And, I got my first Dell and it was a tiny little thing, and it ran on DOS. And yes, it did Windows too. But that's really what got me interested was a desire to make it easy for myself. I didn't want to learn DOS, so as soon as Windows came out, I jumped on board. And I took a couple of classes in Windows that were being offered at the time and got familiar with it or at least comfortable with it. Now, that didn't mean that it didn't come with frustrations. It did. There were always frustrations and there always will be frustrations with technology, but it enabled me to explore the world of computers and, kind of get used to what they could do for me. And as a new salesperson, was very helpful to me in managing lists of customers and sorting prospects and things like that, and keeping track of prospect information. Um, so that's how I really got started with it. And I always was interested in technology and the promise of technology of making things easier for us. And through the process of learning, also being frustrated with some of the new things that come out and they're not quite ready for prime time, and maybe they're pushed out the door a little bit too quick. Such is the case recently. I wanted to buy a new color Kindle, and I kind of researched that and realized, well, according to the reviews, that might not be quite ready for prime time yet. But I just have always had an interest in technology, and when Chat GPT came out, it sounded too good to be true. So I had to look into it. And essentially Chat GPT is nothing more than a computer system, and I'm sure physically it takes up quite a lot of space. I'm sure there's quite a lot of servers involved, storing and sending and receiving information. But it's been trained, it's a computer system that's been trained to go out on its own and seek knowledge. So it goes out on the internet and seeks all this knowledge and gathers all this knowledge. But further, it's been trained in the way language works. And it has been developed to the point where we can communicate with ChatGPT, with this computer system, just as easily as I'm talking to you.
Chris, two things I want to ask. One is Chat GPT, is that a brand or it's a concept of the way that this is working? Is somebody cornering the market on this? Does somebody
Yes, Chat GPT is a copyrighted
Okay.
entity
Okay.
by OpenAI is the name of the company that developed it. And it's a type of AI or artificial intelligence. It was the first one on the scene. There are so many more that have come out since then. And a lot of them are gaining a lot of ground because they're specialized in a particular function. There are ChatGPT itself has developed several computer systems that just specialize in a special thing. For instance, uh, you can use ChatGPT. You can think of it as a source of information. If you have a question,
Mm-hmm.
uh, any kind of a question, shallow, deep, whatever it is, what makes the sky blue? What's the weather going to be like tomorrow? Anything at all, you can ask ChatGPT, and you'll get an instant and accurate answer. But ChatGPT has also developed a GPT, standing for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. You don't have to remember that. Just
Okay. It's good to
is
know
what
though.
it is. Is
Mm-hmm.
what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, ChatGPT has developed a thing called DALI, which is an image generator. You can type in what you would like to see generated as an image, and it's like an artist. It will generate an image for you based on how, the input that you put in either writing or conversation.
So, how do we as a society fight back on the plagiarism and on the uh, uh, I'm a little bit of the train of thought where it is diminishing our brains. I mean, when we were kids growing up, you had to read and write and study and research. Nobody pressed a button. I don't think I even touched a computer till after college.
Right,
I mean,
right.
WordPerfect
Well,
was just coming out in the early 80s, and I was winding down. I was finishing school. How is this? Yeah, how is this affecting us?
well, it's definitely going to affect a lot of jobs. For example, a lot of writing jobs and things like that. A lot of copywriting jobs. But I want to make an important distinction. ChatGPT is not, it's something that's very good at giving you information.
Okay.
It's not that great at being creative. I mean, apart from, things like DALI, where you can say, give me a picture of Mickey Mouse sitting on top of a piece of Swiss cheese,
Yeah.
uh, and it will do that. you know, um, it's not that great, for like creative writing, novel writing, things like that, things that truly depend on our imagination and our creativity. Um, that is not in existence at the present time. So there is, in fact, several computer programs, if you will, that can check GPT written or things of a text nature to find out to what extent they've been written by ChatGPT and are original or plagiarized. Um, but beyond that, for factual information, it's pretty going to give it's going to give you facts in a kind of a plain vanilla fashion, and it's up
Yeah.
to you to really put your personality on it as a writer, to weave it into something that people will want to read,
Chris, in
and
your
that
book,
it
yeah, I was just going to say, your chat GPT made easy for seniors, a step-by-step guide, really fantastic, easy to read ebook and available on Kindle, on Amazon, that you talk about the practical applications. And that's something that I want everybody to know, is to not to be afraid of it, myself included, to not be so scared off by the science fiction angle of it all. So what are the
absolutely.
real practical applications of
Okay,
chat
there are
GPT?
thousands of applications and far more than I could give you here.
Okay.
Think of it as a source of information. They have these devices now. Amazon Echoes, Google Home things. Think of those as kind of a dumb version of Chat GPT.
Okay.
You can just sign up for Chat GPT as easily as you can sign up for any other website. You give them your email and a password, and there's a free version. You can go on it, and first of all, when you sign in, it's as simple as Googling something.
Oh,
When you Google something, there's a little window, and you type in what you're searching for. Same as Chat GPT. You type in what you want to know and hit the enter key, and it will come back with the information.
does it send
Um,
you on a wild goose chase the same way that Google does?
no,
Okay.
no, no. It's much more specific and
Okay.
much more accurate. Um, and there is a new I don't want to get too far afield here, but there's a new version of ChatGPT by another company that when you look for something, the answer is returned, but with all sorts of um, footnotes about where it got the information. So if you want to have backup of where you got the information, that's available to you too. But I tell you, I use it all the time. I don't use it too much in writing, but I use it all the time for technical support. Instead of getting on the phone with an 800 number and talking to somebody who speaks in a dialect or a language that might have trouble understanding, you can get the answers right away from Chat GPT.
Okay. That's
I
really
use that all the time. Because I'm always trying out new software, looking for the easier, better way. And I may run into a problem. Just ask Chat GPT, and it comes up with the answer. And recently, I just want to get this in before we end, because this is going to be absolutely huge. I think, especially for seniors. You can learn anything with ChatGPT. You can do anything with ChatGPT as far as finding out information. You can organize information. But one of the things they just came out with as an ability for ChatGPT, and unfortunately, it's only in the premium version right now, which is $20 a month. But they have the ability to send reminders. Now, lots of seniors have problems remembering to take their medicines. The
oh,
more pills, the harder it is to remember to take them all and when to take them. And sometimes when you don't take them, it can have really serious consequences. So, I was thinking I might even start doing this myself, even though I'm only taking 4 medications. Sometimes I forget. Sending reminders to myself through ChatGPT, and you can set it up once in advance, and it will send you a reminder, either email or text, however you want it. Exactly when you want it, and yes, you can do that with some calendar programs today, but I would imagine that the setup's going to be a lot more difficult than it would be through ChatGPT. So that's something that could be of real value to a lot of seniors out there.
that's excellent advice, because that's something that, again, we're always looking for ways for these things to help us, not bog us down like everything else. Chris, why embrace technology in our later years? We're at a point in our lives where we've kind of, I think, just when we all think we've seen it all, something new comes out, right? But my concern is always, is this going to take away from one-on-one interaction, with socialization, with being around other people?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, and I think it's kind of complex in that I think social interaction has been reduced,
Mm-hmm.
with social media, um, especially with young people. And I think it's something we have to watch out for. Um, you know, it's one thing to let it be your servant instead of your master, and um, I've even seen programs that will control what you can watch, at certain times of the day, kind of limit your screen time. So, I don't know how I embrace technology. I think technology offers us, or at least the promise is, to give us more time by reducing the complexity of our daily tasks.
Yeah.
It seems that things are supposed to be getting easier, uh, but there's always an easier way of doing it. It always seems like you run into a problem here or there, somewhere. So, things like ChatGPT can, I know it's returned, I don't even know how much time in staying on hold with a tech support agent,
Yeah.
trying to find an answer to, in this particular, so I go to ChatGPT and I say, in this software, I get this error message, please advise. Hope step by step what I should
Really,
do.
really. And
Yeah,
it's that
yeah,
detailed and crystal clear. That's amazing.
just amazing.
Amazing.
I think it's great for that, for all sorts of information gathering, for exploring, for planning a trip, for I don't know, organizing your receipts, your spending, doing a budget, helping you do a budget. There's countless things that you can do with it. Do with it. So
That's fantastic. Chris Bates, the you're the author of Chat GPT Made Easy for Seniors. And I also want to talk a little bit about your your unwavering curiosity in science and technology moving on the world. We have some time, and first of all, you're a musician, and I want you to tell us about that aspect of your life, and how you unplug, because that's a creative outlet that no technology could ever replace. That's how I look at it.
yeah, well, I tell you, Patricia, there are some amazing things out there in the technology field
Mm-hmm.
with music.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, right now, I have a uh, software recording studio that I'm fooling around with, getting to learn how to
Okay.
use. And the quality of the output is equal to what would have to have been recorded in a professional recording studio for tens of thousands of dollars 10 years ago.
Okay.
Um, I can, there are kids all over the world today that are putting out fabulous, fabulous music uh, with with their home recording
Mm-hmm.
studios.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I mean, the quality is just evolved to such a point, where it's good because it's reduced, it gives the musicians access, whereas 10 years ago they would have had to save up their money, or know somebody to get in with has a recording studio to get some time. Now they can do it themselves. And that is, I think, a good sign. The more access we can give to more people, to put out their music. The creativity is the other side of that. Can it help with creativity? It can help people learn.
Yeah.
It can help people learn music. It can help people learn how to play on an instrument. Um, there are countless ways that we could use this technology to help us in music. Um, if I'm writing a lyric, and I say, okay, give me all the words with that rhyme with popcorn. You know, ChatGPT will give me all the words that rhyme with popcorn.
And that's probably
I mean,
a
it could be
gazillion
done
page list. Yes, that's
right.
yeah,
I'm just saying.
yeah,
I mean, that's a
yeah,
simple
yeah.
uh,
So
use of it. But
you're
so,
letting
but
it, yeah, you're letting it jar your intellect. You're not letting it's not a substitute for your brain. Like this is what
right.
Right. And I'm love hearing this, that you're using it as a tool to actually enhance your brain function. You have really, really embraced aging, technology, and melding those two, of not letting it scare you, actually letting it into your life. And that is so important as you age. One of the things in your repertoire, you wrote a book, Your Best Brain: Discover the Secrets to Biohacking Maximum Mental Performance. Um, Tell me about that a little bit, because I think
Okay,
it ties into what you're doing. Yeah.
sure. I uh, got into pharmaceuticals as a salesman at the age of 45 and worked that for about 20 years. And through that, got to know a little bit about how vitamins work, how minerals work, how nutrition works. Um, and of course, I was interested in maximizing whatever remaining brain cells I
Yeah.
had.
Yeah.
So, I got into nootropics or nootropics, which are substances or compounds which can raise your thinking ability,
Okay.
either making you remember better or think better. So there was one at the time um, that I got called a Drafinel, which you could get at the time. That is sort of like a precursor of modafinil or Provigil. I don't know if you know what Provigil is.
Mm-mm.
Um, Provigil is a drug that is prescribed for people who are excessively sleepy during the day. It was originally developed as a drug to keep bomber pilots awake during long runs. Um, but
Is
it
it an
was originally
amphetamine? Is it act like speed?
no, it's not. It's not an amphetamine. It's a very low level stimulant.
Okay.
I can't tell you exactly what the mechanism of action is, but it's a low level stimulant. You don't even feel it. But nevertheless, it exists. So I got some adrafinil. I took it myself and noticed an amazing ability to recall words, to speak thoughts, and that helped me with my sales presentations. In fact, I became one of the top salespeople in the company, and I don't know whether it was a result of that or not. I mean, I did work very, very hard, but I think I do credit that with my sales presentation ability, at least at the time. So, I got involved in nootropics, and uh, there are several compounds, besides nootropics, which affect not only the brain but the body. And that's when I started to get involved with researching longevity and what they were using for longevity. And so I decided to write a book just about the nootropics that were brain centered, because I was interested in that. I noticed as a senior, I was starting to forget more things more often, go into more rooms to find out what I was going to the other room to remember, that kind of thing. So I just wanted to be aware of what was out there. So I decided to do the research and see what was out there. Adrafinil was one of them, but that's very hard to get nowadays. Came out of China. China doesn't ship it to us anymore. So, but if you can get a doctor to prescribe it, you can get it.
Yeah, I'm
You
gonna
know.
again, I encourage all of you who are listening to do check out both of these books, Chat GPT Made Easy for Seniors, and Chris's other book, Your Best Brain: Discover the Secrets to Biohacking Maximum Mental Performance, both available on Amazon. And I bring this up is
Thank
because
you.
I, you know, Chris and I talked offline a little bit beforehand, is that, it's not just that you're an age that you have to watch it. You can be the very best you can be at any age. Take your attributes and find ways to enhance it that aren't harmful. This is what I've
Right,
been saying all along. And I think, we're on the same page as doing it as naturally as possible. And there's
right,
enough
absolutely.
science and research going into this that it's not only the lifestyle choices, it's your attitude and your openness and willingness to learn at any age. Very, very important. And I don't have the answer. People ask me all the time, will eating blueberries prevent Alzheimer's? Will exercising every day make me live to be 120? I am so of the train of thought that all these things we're doing, if you can enhance your life on a daily basis, it's worth it. If it makes
Yeah,
each day a
absolutely.
little bit better for all of us, I think that that's key. Chris, I can't thank you enough for coming on. Even
Well,
just this
thank you,
little bit
Patricia. Oh, it's
has just been
delighted
great.
to,
And
delighted to.
let's do a part two because there's always
Yeah.
much more to talk about. And of course, I'm going to ask you, what do you like about getting older?
Well, I don't like the physical part so
Yeah.
much. I've had last couple of years, um, I had a couple of procedures,
Mhm.
that I didn't know I'd be facing so soon. But I think that's part of it. The food industry, I think, has been getting away with a lot for a long
Mhm.
time. And also, we're getting to know how much the refinement and the processing of food affects us,
Yeah.
and how it makes us unhealthy. So I do believe it's not only what you eat and your attitude. The whole is, you've got to consider it from the holistic aspect. You've got to consider it. All these things were involved. You've got to exercise. You've got to eat right. You got to maintain a positive attitude. You got to be grateful. All these things are really a part of it. But the good news is they all work together. So
Yeah.
you know,
One thing that I always say, something I say in all my shows, and I think you can appreciate this, is that every guest I have on, I feel like is a partner with me in making the world better and making life
absolutely.
older people. That everything we talk about, just keep interjecting these things that we know are helpful. But one of the things that I always like to say, and I say it over and over again, is that where your self-esteem is at any given moment is how well you will take care of yourself. And your
Oh
way you
yeah.
feel about yourself very much drives whether or not you will take care of yourself and whether or not you will move forward in a healthy way. So I
Right.
can't say enough about, of course, I want you to listen to this show and all my shows, but I can't say enough about community and being accountable to other people. And I don't mean that in a negative way that you have to answer to someone, but having people in your life makes you want to take better care of yourself. It's just a given, whether
Yeah.
it's family members or friends. Um, and not at the risk of caring what people think, but caring about yourself enough to say, I'm going to pull myself together and I'm going to be here for those around me. And that's really one of the best places to be coming from in
Yep.
taking care of yourself. It's not a
Yeah.
selfish, it's not a me. It's really more about your place in the world and how you're navigating your daily space and living well. So thank you again,
Yeah.
Chris Bates. So
Thank you,
good to see
Patricia. It's
you.
been
My pleasure, my
a real
pleasure.
delight,
Thank you,
speaking with you
thank you.
today.